everyone, it's Catching Tease here. Welcome to my channel, where today I'm continuing my Why It Went Viral series, this time talking about God's Menu by Stray Kids, because this song, for better or for worse, was legitimately kind of a cultural reset for boy groups, I feel. This song is a very special place in my heart personally because it's the first song that really got me to branch out in K-pop. I started out as just a BTS fan, but God's Menu is what got me to take the leap and start a non-BTS K-pop playlist. Literally the first song on it is God's Menu, and the rest is history because now it's 40 hours long. But I know I'm far from the only one in this boat, so why did this song have this effect on so many people? Let's dive into why God's Menu went viral. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about here is Stray Kids' reputation as a noisy boy group. Even before their official debut in March of 2018, these boys built a brand on loud EDM with their pre-debut activities. Pretty typical of fourth-gen boy groups, right? So what set them apart? Their insane rap line that rivaled the best of the best. Korea didn't appreciate them much, but overseas, ooh, different story there. I believe JYP started taking the international angle with them more in 2019. This is apparent with the release of the Double Knot English version performance video 3 months after the release of the original music video. But it wasn't just the Western market they were targeting. They also released 2 Japanese singles with music videos in May of 2020, which was the month before God's Menu came out. And on top of all of that, they also released 2 mixtape singles with music videos as well. With 6 different music videos in several different languages released in the 3 months leading up to June, and combined with the fact that their last full Korean release was Levanter, a title track that differed from their usual noise, the stage was set for them to make a massive comeback. God's Menu was released on June 17th, 2020 as the title track to Stray Kids' first full-length album, Go Live. Cooking like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin. I mean, yeah, enough said. I think this is one of the biggest strengths of God's Menu, and you're about to hear me talk a whole lot about why. Its structure is all over the place. There's so many left turns, but the way they cue each switch is brilliant and what makes it work. It somehow manages to be chaotic but digestible at the same time. God's Menu is a car speeding and swerving down the road with no destination in mind, but it always uses a turn signal to be respectful to the people following it. Starting off the song, we get Changbin practically screaming in our faces with his rap section. I want to draw attention to this because not a lot of songs start with a rap right off the bat. The first lines in a song are crucial to retaining the attention of the listener, and a lot of groups aren't confident enough in their rappers to let them kick things off. The only groups that do let their rappers start their songs, much less their title tracks, know that they have to come in hard and fast. Some of the best examples I think of off the top of my head are BTS's Tear and Ateez's Gorilla. The first lines in both of those songs hit like a punch to the gut, and God's Menu is no different. This structure isn't super common, and that's partially why it's so effective. People don't hear it often, so it takes them by surprise. Now, not only do we start with Changbin's gritty delivery, but we also continue with Han's choppy and quick verse. 2 blazing rap sections, and then boom, pre-chorus. Everything chills out, and the song takes a moment to break up all of the noise and smooth things over. But then it starts very obviously building to a drop. In case you're still recovering from the whirlwind that is the first 30 seconds of this song and trying to figure out where exactly we are, they give you the very obvious cue of the to signal that they're moving into the chorus. Not only is it catchy, but it serves a purpose. It's practically a bright neon arrow pointing to the section and saying, "This is the main part! This, right here!" Ironically, the chorus is easily the most predictable and simplistic part of the entire song, mostly because of the pre-chorus and the doo-doo-doo, but also because of how it's built. The first half is just instrumental with one line and doo-doo-doo occasionally thrown in there. The fact that the instrumental pretty much doesn't change throughout the whole thing, and it both starts, continues, and ends with the doo-doo-doos, provides the consistency that the rest of the song has been lacking up to this point. And then they proceed to rip that away from us. Violently. I don't think I need to explain why Felix's part is so shocking, considering there are entire compilations out there of people reacting to just these few seconds. But this is one of the few spots where everything pulls back and smooths out, until Bangchan comes in and cranks everything up a notch again. Are you sensing a pattern here? Then it's the same thing with the pre-chorus again, and just as you're like, oh, I know where this is heading, that noisy chorus from earlier, they pull the rug out from under you again. Instead of that, we get a quiet interlude from Felix, which would confuse and throw people off completely if it weren't for the do-do-do once again, signaling a transition before and after this section. I mean, imagine how wonky this would be without the do-do-do bits breaking things up. Just listen to this. Yeah, it just feels wrong. So those doo-doo-doos are critical to providing this song with the structure it needs to make sense to someone on the first listen. Man, if I had a dime for every time that I say do in this video. After that, we hit the final chorus and oh look, Changbin's back. He rides the wave of the leftover energy from the chorus to close the song out through one last punch with the same verse from the beginning. You aren't expecting it, but it ties off the song really nicely. By bookending the entire song with Changbin's rap, it presents one last sense of cohesion to control the chaos of the song and wrap everything up in a nice bow. This technically should have been in the last section because the instrumental really does work in tandem with the structure, but it got so long I had to split it up. What I find most interesting is how Godsmenu marks a certain departure from Stray Kids' usual strictly EDM-heavy sound. Yes, it's still noisy, very much so, but it's not all electronic. Stray Kids had definitely worked with instrumentals that had, actual instruments before, such as in My Pace and Levanter, but rarely did they let the two styles intermingle the way that they do in Godsmenu. The brassy bass line drives the song, but there are still EDM influences sprinkled throughout it, like with the siren in the background that's present for most of the song and the trap beat. The synth used in the pre-chorus is also reminiscent of 2010's dubstep. There are sections that are entirely trap, such as Bangchan's verse, entirely that brassy bass line, such as Felix's part, and a bit of both, such as the chorus. But what all of it has in common is that it is loud and proud. Basically, it's a banger on all fronts, okay? But I want to focus in on the brassy bass line more because while it's simple, they do some very fun things with it. It's the very first and the very last thing you hear in the song, and it goes through almost the entire thing and acts as an anchor for the audience, so we have something concrete to hold on to through everything. That said, there are 6, technically 8 spots in the entire song where the brass cuts out. At the beginning, when Changbin speaks, the first half of Han's verse, both of the pre-choruses, a brief pause in the middle of both choruses, Bangchan's verse, and another brief pause right before Changbin's final verse. All of these pauses are very intentional. They all serve a purpose. In the case of Han and Bangchan's parts, it makes way for the trap to drive the song for a second. This is where we get a lot of the genre blending that is so integral to K-pop. In the pre-chorus, it serves the same purpose, but instead of trap, we get more of the pretty vocals and extended synths. In all cases, cutting out the brass for a moment to throw it back in later allows the song to continue building energy and keep kicking it up a notch. If the brass was there the whole time, then it would get boring. If it wasn't in there enough, the song would lack a consistent bass line. Take it out only in a few parts where you switch up the instrumental entirely and you've struck the happiest of mediums. Why do you think that Changbin's verses pack such a punch? Because the brass cuts out right before them and comes back the second that he hits his first syllable. It adds another explosive layer to his sections. Another way they keep the brass from getting boring is by playing with the volume. Yes, Felix's parts are impactful because, well, Felix, but listen to the instrumental here.
like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin. 미의 정점을 찍고 눈에 보여 illusion.
That brass is still there, but it's just barely lurking in the background. It's perfect in the way that it sucks out all of the energy from the chorus instantly and places all of the emphasis on Felix's stunning voice. Probably my favorite thing about the whole song.
모든 그냥 집어넣어 눈치 보지 말고 더 망쳐.
I don't think I have ever seen a group create such a solid brand through just their cinematography alone. And it's all because of this bad boy. Meet Mr. Bolt Rig, a camera rig that is used fairly widely in K-pop now, but hardly was ever used before 2020. It works by programming the movements in ahead of time and whipping around super fast, so each take is pretty much identical and crisp as hell. That's how we get shots like these, that change angles so smoothly and really kind of mess with your head. By being one of the first groups to implement this technology and incorporate it so extensively, the video itself was enough to make waves, but also the transitions are some of the most creative ones I have ever seen. I mean, look at this. Look at this. My jaw quite literally dropped the first time that I saw Hyunjin do that. And it's not just him. It's Changbin pulling the cards up and down to move between sets. It's Han cutting to a different scene while quite literally doing a cutting move. It's each hazmat coming in on the do-do-do respectively. Everything about this video is so well thought out that it never ceases to absolutely floor me whenever I watch it. You will find some new detail to love every single time that you play it, and that is the mark of a truly amazing music video. For more of a breakdown on the music video, I highly recommend watching Form of Therapy's Culture Study. He's awesome, and he does really thorough analyses of pretty much every K-pop video ever, so check him out if you're into that stuff. Honestly, I don't think that this contributed to it going viral, but they're amazing. The whole cooking metaphor is just genius, and I wanted to point it out. Okay, moving on. It's so weird. Really, this choreography is kind of whack. Like, it's all stiff and jerky and almost not even fun to watch, but it's because of that it sticks out so much from the rest of the crowd. It's kind of the same effect as the choreography from Ateez's Hala Hala. Go check out my video on that, by the way. But instead of a creep factor, it's just weird. Like mechanical and robotic. I have no other way to describe it. It's just tense and uncomfortable. But it makes a lot more sense when you look at it closely and pair it with the lyrics. I had no idea what this move was until I was struck with the realization that, wait, oh, they're like flipping something in the air and then following it and then catching it in a pan and then like putting some spices on it. Oh, but yeah, the choreography, even though it's a little funky, leaves quite the impression. I don't think anyone would deny that the styling for this era was a banger. Sure, some of their future stuff would be equally as good or better, but compared to everything before godsmenu, it was leagues ahead. Whereas everything before had been baggier and ragged and relatively unremarkable, godsmenu was sleek and elegant while still being rugged enough at times to look cool. They look sophisticated but still intimidating. Truly, I get Gordon Ramsay idiot sandwich vibes when Changbin is yelling at me in the kitchen, even if we all know Gordon Ramsay would never let this happen in his presence. Okay, here's the real kicker. We all lived through the virus that shall not be named, so we all know how bored everyone was during this time. Everyone was practically living on the internet since that was about all you could do when the entire world was shut down. And there's a lot of K-pop on the internet, so it's not unreasonable to assume that a lot of people, me included, started their spiral into K-pop around this time. A lot of these shutdowns happened around mid to late March, and God's Menu was released in June, so I think it literally couldn't have had better timing. Because getting into K-pop is a process that takes a bit. Usually, someone finds a gateway group such as BTS or Blackpink, warms up to the idea of K-pop, but sticks with their one group for a while, and then eventually branches out after a couple of months once they finally decide that K-pop as a whole can be kinda cool. On top of that, these people haven't quite been in the K-pop sphere long enough to form opinions on other groups or companies or sounds, and they're usually pretty far removed from the specific drama, so all they saw was a fun new boy group with an exciting sound. Why not check it out? Also, I know Stray Kids became that gateway group for a lot of people with God's Menu. It has a very Western appeal while still feeling like K-pop, so it was attractive to all kinds of audiences, familiar and unfamiliar alike. So those are some of the reasons that I think Stray Kids' God's Menu went viral. This song is just kind of legendary. It did a lot for Stray Kids as a group, but I also think it's partially what started all these 4th gen boy groups down this path of trying noise music out, for better or for worse, but that's up to you. But that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below, because I would love to talk more about this. Is there anything that you think I missed, and what are some other viral songs that you'd like to see me overanalyze? Also, if you liked the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel as it really helps me out. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye!